right, James Jones, 7 playoff appearances in his 8 years with the Packers, almost a decade in the NFL. The pride of San Jose State. He'll be on Speak after our show. So we got into let's start with the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, J-Mac, we noticed this. They signed a quarterback from the USFL.
Yeah.
Little concerning. What do you make of that? They drafted a young quarterback.
Yeah.
They're bringing in a USFL quarterback.
Yeah.
They're not doing that in L.A. with the Rams, Stafford.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I should be concerned, but why would you do that?
Well, I mean, I'm not concerned at all, but it's all about finding a diamond in the rough, right? You know, they won 2 championships out there, Birmingham Stallions, 2 championships, right? So obviously this quarterback's a winner. He's finding ways to win. So for me, it's all about finding that diamond in the rough, right? We play a competitive game. We play a violent game. Injuries happen.
Okay.
We've seen the Niners go out there without a quarterback, and end up just not even being able to compete in the NFC Championship game. So I think this is just one of those things to where you have an opportunity to keep another quarterback, an extra quarterback out there on the active roster.
All right.
Right? Hey, see if you can find a diamond in the rough just in case. But no, Jordan Love's going to be fine.
Okay. We got into a little pushback yesterday.
Yeah.
And J-Mac and I agree on probably 80% of stuff. But that top 10 list of receivers came out, and Deebo wasn't on it. And my argument is, he's not one of the 10 best receivers. He's he's the most versatile, and he's also, to some degree, a little bit of a product of a system that really uses him in a lot of different ways that other teams don't. But when I watch him, I don't think he runs the routes of a Cooper Kupp or Devontae Adams. I don't think he has the breakaway talent of Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
As a former receiver, do you look at him as a great receiver or a great football player?
See, I'm rubbing off on you, man. You talking receiver play really good right now. No, I agree. I don't agree with the list because Jalen Waddle should be on the list, right? I don't care who's off. DK Metcalf, Scary Terry, CeeDee Lamb, one of those guys have to be off for Jalen Waddle. You're talking about a young player that came in there, 100 catches, 1,000-plus yards. Then 70-plus catches and 1,300-plus yards with Tua and Teddy Bridgewater. He deserves to be on that list. But as for Deebo Samuel, you're right. He is a playmaker. Get the ball in his hands, Percy Harvin type style. Get the ball in his hands. He is going to make you right, whether that's a handoff, a reverse, a quick screen pass. He is a playmaker. When we're talking about the receiver position, to be able to run the whole route tree, there's not too many highlights you could take of Deebo Samuel. No knock to Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's a great player. But there's not too many highlights to where you can sit here and say, ooh, that's a route right there by Deebo Samuel. Right? There ain't too many, right?
How many guys in the league run like that? I was
run
watching
routes.
I saw a Cooper Kupp highlight yesterday. That guy gets open. It's
another guy I truly believe should be on that list, too, that's up there in the best route running in the game, and that is Calvin Ridley. When you talk about Devontae Adams, you talk about Keenan Allen, you talk about Justin Jefferson, you talk about Cooper Kupp, you talk about guys that can truly, truly run routes. Amari Cooper, I'm telling you right now, when this is all said and done after this season, Calvin Ridley will be a top 5 receiver up there on that list next year, and it ain't going to be number 5. He is like that. He is special like that. All the route trees, he can do it. But Deebo Samuel, back to Deebo, he is not that guy. So I'm not mad with him not being on this list because when you strictly talk about receiver play, he does not run the whole route tree. He's not used as a true number 1 receiver. He's not that guy when you strictly talk about receiver. You talk about football player and making a play and playmaker, put him up in there in the top 5.
Yeah. So you had Dennis Allen, one of our other agreements, but he is convincing me, is I do think the Saints have the best roster in the weak division.
Yes.
But, and I think Derek Carr, I've always liked him more than the public. But I've seen Nathaniel Hackett with Denver. If the coach ain't right, the team ain't right. His record as a coach is abysmal. Sean Payton leaves, he takes over. They're bad instantly. You had him briefly. I mean, what did you see? Or not see?
Well, it's tough because when I was with Dennis Allen, we probably had the worst roster in football.
Raiders.
Right, Raiders. And that 2014 roster was probably the worst roster in football. I was on the roster, so I was bad too.
And you knew it was
Include
bad.
me in there, yes. what we're looking at now with the New Orleans Saints, you have a two-headed monster at running back with Jamal Williams and Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
You have a Swiss Army knife in Taysom Hill. You have a two-headed monster at wide receiver with Michael Thomas and Chris Olave, and they got some young speed out there as well. You have a good offensive line, right? And then you add a Pro Bowl quarterback in Derek Carr.
It should be profound.
It should be good. The blessing about this whole situation is Dennis Allen is a really good defensive coordinator, right? That's your job. You don't need to come over here messing with Derek Carr, touching the offense.
Stay out of the meeting rooms.
Stay out of the meeting rooms. Let the OC do his job. Let him do what he's supposed to do, and you take control of that defense. And if that can be done and Derek Carr go out here and play the way he's capable of playing, not turning the football over, this Saints team is going to be one of the best teams in the NFC. So when it comes down to that, I am going to say Dennis Allen and this Derek Carr relationship is going to be just fine, and they're in a much better position right now than they were in 2014.
Yeah, the roster's good.
Yeah.
Finally, James Jones joining us, Super Bowl champ, decade in the league, playoffs 7 of 8 years. Saquon Barkley, what do you make of this discussion of sit out?
Number one, you can't just leave $10 million on. I don't care how much money you got.
That's a lot
you
of
can't
money.
just walk away from $10 million, right? I hate it for Saquon Barkley because he is the best player on that football team, right? He makes that offense go. You just paid Daniel Jones. He makes Daniel Jones better.
Yeah.
So not having him out there, now you are putting everything on Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has not showed us he's a put everything on my shoulders quarterback.
No, he's reliant on Saquon.
You got me? So, and he's reliant on system, you know, and it's a bunch of times to where through this system, Daniel Jones wasn't even on the field. It was a wildcat. You're taking Saquon Barkley off of that offense to where these defensive coordinators are in these meeting rooms saying, we have to stop or slow down 26, right? If 8 beats us, 8 beats us. Right. But we have to stop 26. Saquon Barkley not being there truly hurts this Giants offense. It hurts the development of your quarterback in Daniel Jones. I do not like it, but he's in a lose-lose situation.
Right. By the
As
way,
a running back, you cannot sit out a full year and expect to come back and play at a high level. Number two, if you do not show up to training camp, you already have been a little bit injury-prone, so it's not like you're going to come not do training camp and just come and play against play against the Cowboys. That's not going to happen. And then the risk of injury goes up. You don't have camp. You don't have your legs under you.
Camp helps to get some hits.
100%. We have a saying in the locker room, you are not in football shape until you playing football. I don't care how many hills you run up. I don't care how many sleds you are pulling. I don't care about none of that. You are not in football shape. You do not have football legs until you are playing football. We are not training, running routes, and a defender is pushing on us. That's working different muscles.
In your prime, what did you feel like Monday after a game?
In the ice tub, body sore from neck down to the toes, in the ice tub, hot tub,
and
just trying to get your. And I'm a receiver. We are talking about running backs who hit every play. You either in pass protection, you running that ball, or you catching the ball out of the backfield. Every play you on the field, you hitting somebody. Receivers, it's not the case. So running backs, it's even more brutal for them. So with him not being there, the whole training camp, who knows how long he's going to hold out, if he is going to hold out. But with him not being there, this is a problem. This is how guys get hurt. He's not going to have his legs under him. He's going to be on a pitch count if he does sit out and decide to come back and play against the Cowboys. I don't like it. I wish they would have got a deal done. They didn't, but you can't turn down $10 million. You got to go get your money, man.
I know.
You got to.
There's a lot of
lettuce.
lettuce.
You got to go get your money.
You can buy a nice car. Yeah. You can buy. You know what the bottom line is? He's a great football player.
Yeah.
Go be a great football player.
That's it.
He'll have a market.
Yeah.
He'll have something.
Yeah. And I know a lot of these guys, this is 1-year deal. You fear the injury, right? Because that's the worst thing that can happen in this. Right. You get injured and then you coming in the next year with no leverage, right? But if he does go out there and be Saquon Barkley like he was this year, then now you're talking and you got the upper hand. But even with that all being said, it's $10 million. You're never making that $10 million back. I don't care if you sign a $40 million deal at the end of this season. It's $10 million you still left out there. You got to go get it.
James, great seeing you.
Good to see you, brother.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.